Wow. Just wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how many of you watched Chimsom's first diary session yesterday. If you missed out on it, don't worry. I gave a detailed analysis of it, all right? So just go ahead and check out the last 2 videos I did yesterday, all right? But yeah, why am I making reference to it? Chimsom had a conversation with Bells today about the altercation that they had. And although the cameras was just basically off and on, their conversation, because there were other conversations happening in the house here, but I was able to listen attentively, observantly as well, to their conversation. And ladies and gentlemen, yo, I must admit, Chimsom is a very, very skilled gaslighter. This guy has A1111 in manipulation, the art of manipulation. See, it's an art for this guy. You see the way he talks? And you see the way he talks? Yay! Ha! Chimsom. And you see here, I was sort of losing my mind. I was literally praying for Bells to clock it. It seemed like she was clocking it, but she still buckled under this guy's persuasive, in fact, subtle, persuasive analysis of his own side of the situation. And then she fell for it. And then she ended up apologizing to him for using the statement, "Stop sexualizing me." Yeah, he was able to convince her that, oh, that word, she shouldn't have used that word. And she apologized to him repeatedly because of the damages she could have done to his reputation on social media. And he was able to also effortlessly make her feel bad about the whole situation. Ladies and gentlemen, I felt like going to the rescue. I felt like running like a fly into Belle's ears in that house and screaming, "Don't fall for it! Don't fall for it!" But she fell for it. Ladies and gentlemen, now, once again, why did I refer to Chimsom's diary session he had yesterday? During his diary session, just like Big Brother had asked every other housemate about their goals for the week, Biggie had asked him the same question. And Chimsom had nonchalantly said that he had no goals. In fact, he came to the house without any plans, without any goals, without any strategies, that he just came for the fun, to catch vibes, and to just be himself, basically. That's why he came to the house. He even went further to accuse the likes of Bells of playing a game. Accused Oyi and Flora of playing a game. But lo and behold, ladies and gentlemen, right from that night, when he had that heated altercation with Bells, I think that was Wednesday night, yeah, the way he had quickly twisted the narrative of his role in that situation, how he had carried out a media round around the house to immediately try to redeem his image, tried to also, in a way, minister to us, the viewers, that, oh, I'm innocent, oh, I didn't do X, Y, Z, da, 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 and then ending up having a conversation with Bells today and manipulating her and gaslighting her into believing that she was the reason he fled, or she was the problem, she was the cause of everything. This guy did not take accountability for anything. He put all the blame on Bells, and Bells fell for it and ended up apologizing, and the cameras captured everything. I am so pissed. I am so pissed. I'm so pained. Guys, I am so pained because, listen, I hate cheating. I hate marginalization. I hate it when people cheat me or cheat people. When you cheat me like that, I want to defend myself. So I am so pissed. Anyways, let's get into more details on this video because I really want to dissect their conversation, you know, the things Chimsom said, the things Bells said. I'm just going to give a summary. Remember, I said that the cameras was moving from their conversation to other conversations in the house, and also their conversation and reconciliation wasn't the only thing that happened in the house today. Chimsom HOH once again. In the early hours of this morning, when the housemates were in the arena for their workout session, had an issue with Cassie, and it almost blew up into a boys' fight, but it resulted in a very, very lengthy conversation, you know, a resolution, or should I say a conflict resolution type of conversation, and they ended up resolving things. But Cassie is still not over it because we're still talking to other housemates about how it made him feel. So, ladies and gentlemen, coupled with one or two other things that happened, I will spill the details on this video, all right? But before we get into it, you're all especially welcome to my channel. My name is Gloria Elijah. This is Frankly Speaking with Gloria Elijah, and I am the girl with the tea. Listen, quick reminder, do not forget that tomorrow, Saturday, by 3 p.m. WAT, we're going to be converging here for our YouTube live conversation, the first YouTube live conversation of this season of Big Brother Naija. So please make it a date with us. There's a lot to discuss. All right. And yeah, also please do not forget to engage in the comment section. Go ahead, share your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys there. All right. Now, without further ado, let's just dive right into the rest of the video. All right. I had to catch my breath. So let's take it from the very beginning of the first drama of the day today. That was the almost heated altercation between Cassie and the head of house, Chimsom. So we know that Chimsom has been feeling disrespected, his favorite word, ever since he became head of house. In fact, ever since he walked in through those doors, because before he even became head of house, he's been going on and on and on about how people disrespect people in the house. He'd be like, say, where the guy is coming from. It's like they always feed them respect every morning for breakfast. Yeah, because the guy is obsessed with respect. But I understand, you know, as a head of house, you want to stamp your authority. You want to have control of the affairs of the house, and you want to have structure as well. So I totally understand him. I'm not mad at it. Although, as I also mentioned on one of my videos yesterday, he's actually doing too much now. Yeah, he's become arrogant, he has become hypocritical, and he has also become, worst of all, biased, you know, in the manner with which he handles things around the house, especially with his fellow housemates as well. And that was actually the bone of contention for Bells. That was why she was upset, you know. But yeah, we already know about that gist. So back to him and Cassie. This morning, the usual, housemates marched into the arena, and Chimsom, as usual, was in charge, telling them what to do. According to Cassie, Chimsom wanted to tell them to do another thing again, but then they ended up doing the same thing. And Cassie has said a number of times in the house about how he's a fitness enthusiast, right? Just like Sheba. So Chimsom was doing the same thing again, and he was wondering, like, okay, what's this guy doing? So he went to the back of the row they had this lines created. So he went to the back to do something else, you know, and Chimsom was literally ordering him not to do that. So that was what really pissed him off, because he felt like, come on, even though you're the head of house, Big Brother said that we could use the arena in the mornings for our workout session, and anybody can do what they want to do. So us listening to your instructions, it's just out of regard for your, you know, for your position as head of house. But you're now trying to control everybody like children. It doesn't really make sense. And Cassie has a point. But yeah, Chimsom, as usual, was trying to explain his own standpoint, you know. And then there was this very interesting example that he came up with, that, oh, look, for example, now, oh, I am Chimsom, but I'm also the head of house, and the head of house is higher than me, Chimsom. So sometimes when I'm talking, it is the head of house that is talking, and sometimes when I'm talking, it is Chimsom that is talking. I say, yeah. This guy is a very interesting character. His explanation made sense, but it did not make sense to Cassie, because Cassie was pissed. In fact, he was saying that, oh, you and I were not on the same level. And Cassie almost blew off. In fact, he walked out of the conversation, but then he came back again just to listen, you know. And Chimsom was still trying to give this ridiculous explanation. But Cassie's point was, there are ways you can handle your position and handle how you give instructions, but you cannot be controlling because we're all adults at the end of the day. But Chimsom was still standing on his grounds that, oh yes, and when somebody else becomes head of house, they might even do worse than him, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, they resolved it, you know, boys will be boys, they settled it. But ladies and gentlemen, what are your thoughts about that? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, Biggie sent in the rule book and the kitchen rule book. Now, the kitchen rule book is specifically for how the housemates use the pot, yeah? Because it's a different kind of pots that they gave the housemates this season. Now, the rule book, a few things have changed, or probably everything has changed. Guys, I don't know. Ebukasha announced on the day of the launch show that the rules have changed, new rules this season, yeah. So we don't know the content of the rule book. The housemates now know because some of them have already started studying the rule book. Now, as usual, head of house was to summon the housemates to the lounge so that he could make these announcements. And some of the housemates were already gathered in the lounge, but then they were not complete. Chimsom was even saying that, oh, we are 22 or 21 here. There should be 2 more people. Where are they? Where are they? Now, those 2 other people were Nomi and Temi. And guess what? They were upstairs in their bedroom changing their duvet cover. Every other person was there. And it got me wondering, like, wait, because initially I didn't even notice they were not there in the lounge. It was later on when the conversation had gone on for a while, the cameras went to the room to show that, hey, these 2 people are not even a part of the meeting. And so I was wondering, like, wait, hold on a second, what's going on? How is it that Chimsom is not reacting? How is it that he's not complaining, he's not saying anything? Because, ladies and gentlemen, you and I know that if it was Bells that was doing that, guys, Chimsom will explode. The whole house will explode. See, to even make it more annoying for me personally, by the time those who were gathered in the lounge were gathered, that was when Tram stood up and said, oh, excuse me, I want to go and pee. And Chimsom said, okay. And he left. Chimsom did not make faces. He was not irritated. He was not upset. But Bells was there. Ladies and gentlemen, guess what? All of these happened. As I said, Chimsom did not react to. But in his reconciliation conversation with Bells, Chimsom still looked for a way to convince Bells that she was the second to the last person that came for that meeting. Hi! My head almost scattered. I said, this guy, it was so annoying. Now, before we arrive at that statement, what exactly even happened? After all of Chimsom's media rounds, finally had a conversation with Bells. And in his usual soft-spoken and, you know, oh, I'm a nice guy type of way, he was explaining how he felt about the situation. Oh, he cried and cried and cried. Big Brother called him into the diary room, that he has been going to Big Brother's room, You don't know what happens in there. Do you know? You don't know, He was playing the victim, basically. Bells listened to him. And a lot was probably said, because at some point, remember I said before, the cameras was moving to and through them. Bells now said, oh, that she's sorry. In fact, she apologized. She said, oh, that she thought when you say stop sexualizing me, it means you're telling the person to stop telling you, oh, you're sexy, you're this, you're that. Because let's not forget that in that altercation with Bells that Chimsom had, first, he provoked her by taunting her, by making a mockery of her, of her disappointment in him for cautioning her, but not cautioning Ricky. In fact, the whole favoritism thing involved. And he was unapologetic about it. He was taunting her, even daring her, like, I dare you to break the rules, I dare you. So he triggered her, right? And in the whole thing that unfolded, he had said a lot of nasty things about her. In fact, later on when he was talking to housemates, he said, oh, the insult was so much that he almost even started insulting her parents. Like he almost involved insulting her parents, you know. So he was ready to take it anywhere. But then, according to what Bells had told us, it was when Chimsom, he was so carried away in the whole insult spree, but he now noticed that the cameras were on them, right? He now started telling her, oh, you're beautiful, you're sexy. You know, when we were little, there was this thing that used to happen when you're quarreling with someone and the person begins to tell you, God bless you. Maybe you tell the person, you're mad. The person say, God bless you. The person say, you're stupid. The person was like, you're God bless you. Leave it for me. They are taunting you, right? It's quite provocative. So that was what Chimsom was doing. But then he lied to the rest of the house that he was just giving her compliments because he realized that, oh, the insults was now escalating. So when you are in the heat of the moment with someone like that, and then the person starts telling you, oh, you are beautiful, you're sexy, and look at your hair, look at your leg, look at your this. It's a mockery. They are outrightly insulting you. They are patronizing you. It's like them indirectly telling you that you're ugly, you're not beautiful. Exactly. So that was exactly how Bells felt, right? But Chimsom, as I said, found a way to convince her that, oh my God, you don't even know what social media is saying. Look at what must have happened, my reputation. And Belle started feeling bad and apologized to him. But then she tried to also tell her own side of the story by, you know, bringing back memories of what exactly had happened on that day. But Chimsom now lied that it was actually Abby he was referring to, but not Bells. And then she made reference to what had happened today. That look, for instance, now, I wasn't even the last person that joined the meeting, that came to the lounge. But some of the housemates were turning and looking at me and saying, oh, why are you always the last person? She said people had sat down on the sofa. She went to the dining to go and drag a chair so that she could sit where she normally sits. At the back, there wasn't enough space on the sofas. Guess what? I think she didn't even know that Nomi and Temi were not even in that meeting. If not, she would have had a stronger case. But ladies and gentlemen, Chimsom knew that those two girls were not in that meeting, but he still went ahead and told her that, let me be honest with you. Do you want to know the truth? You were the second to the last person to come. In other words, engraving it in her head that she's still always the last person that joins the meeting. Second to the last. He did not even talk about Tram that left to go and pee, which would have made her still early. Because if there was a last person, there was Tram who came, left, and came back again. So that whole conversation, as I said, it was a show of gaslighting, courtesy of Chimsom. And Bells now, because he had already made her feel so guilty that, oh, she wanted to damage his reputation, she was still apologizing to him. Guys, the team paid me. I'm not going to lie. He paid me. Anyways, the cameras moved away from them to the dining where Nomi was having breakfast with Bluethopia. I wanted to say Bluetooth. With Bluethopia or Bluethopia. And Nomi was like, oh, they've settled. Blue said yes. And Nomi was like, that Bells is a nicer person than her. Because what about Chimsom? That Chimsom did a lot. He said a lot that day. And Chimsom even said he was going to insult Belle's parents as well. You know? So, you know what? If she was the one, you know, because she was very upset that how is it that Bells is apologizing? It did not make sense to her. And ladies and gentlemen, as I said before, I must give it to Chimsom. That guy, he's a dangerous player. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. But still, that is a solid gameplay. Because that is what we talk about, the show. If you have the skill of manipulation, tactically manipulating people, just tactically playing the game, then you're a pro. You are a pro. And that's exactly what Chimsom was doing. Anyways, massive accolades to Chimsom for playing this game, because even if that dude keeps lying that he came to the house for the vibes, for the chills, nah lie. The guy is actually doing the most. He is doing the most, and I'm impressed. Very impressed. Yeah. But anyways, moving on. Something else happened in the house this afternoon. Bluethopia was crying over food. that she had begged somebody, she had reminded someone since yesterday that she wanted to eat this, she wanted to eat rice or something. And the person ended up serving her bottom pot. Bottom pot is like, it's the last scrape of food in the pot that they serve to you. And it turned out that what she did not want to eat was what the person actually gave to her. So she was really upset. She did not want to eat it. And once again, guys, listen, I feel like this video is for Chimsom himself. Once again, Chimsom stepped in as big brother, as per head of house as well, to console her. You know, Sheba was begging her as well to eat. She refused. Then Chimsom, chai, eat my tongue. Chimsom took her for a walk and tried to pacify her, was asking her what she wanted to eat, that he was going to cook for her. And once again, I'm like, this guy is damn good. Because, listen, jokes aside now, what he was doing is actually good because he knows that building good relationships with your fellow housemates is just as important as sabotaging their game. So you want to get into people's good books one way or the other, and yeah, you strike when they are not even, you know, alert. Yeah. So yeah, that was that. Last but not least, Ricky once again explained his side of the situation between him and Nomi. Now, he wasn't the one that went around doing media rounds. People wanted to know what happened, and he explained his own side of the situation. And Sheba was so pissed. Like, Sheba was like, the fuck? Like, the hell? Who owns this house? Is anybody paying for bed space in this house? Blah, blah, blah. So she was really upset. Like, Nomi had no right to want to chase out Ricky from a room that is not even hers to begin with. Yeah. And then Tammy was a part of that conversation, and she was able to have a separate conversation away from that with Ricky. I'm guessing that Big Brother's question to her during her diary session yesterday sort of got to her head, got her thinking a bit, not so much, because that girl is just like Nomi. They do not see that they have done any wrong to anybody. Ricky also took time to explain himself again. She was quite defensive in that conversation. Yeah. Her stance was she was only trying to defend her friend, that she felt like somebody was going to do something to her friend, Nomi. So she came in between them to try to stop the fight, you know. So she was just going on and on. I'm like, girl, just leave it. Leave it. You know, she was trying to nitpick at some point though. She was trying to get Ricky to say that he has a blame, because she was asking him, okay, what will you take blames for in this whole thing? And I love the fact that Ricky stood his ground, that no, that Nomi is the one that is to blame. And then she was saying that, oh, I don't think Nomi is going to apologize. I mean, I don't even know, da, 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 da. But the show ended up settling things, which I think is very smart of Tammy, because Nomi is feeling left out of the house somehow. You know, like this morning, everybody was having breakfast. She was not a part of it until much later, where she was sat with Blutopia by the other side of the dining table, eating. So Tammy is noticing a pattern of isolation with Nomi, and she's trying to remove herself from that, because she's kept on saying both yesterday evening and today, this morning, that she does not want her stay in the house to be defined by the situation with Ricky. So in other words, she's trying to start afresh. She's trying to start on a clean slate. So smartly, she had gone to resolve things with Ricky. So now that leaves Ricky and Nomi not on talking terms. They are the only two people in the house that have a pending issue to be resolved. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's see if they will ever find common ground. My prediction is that they might become an item in the future of this season. Who knows? Anything can happen in Big Brother's house. But let's see. Depends on how they decide to play their game, right? But yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. So please go ahead and share. And I'll see you all on my next video. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing, amazing day. Bye.